display yard for later.
Yeah. Not full value, let's say.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A very quick break. Time to recharge the engines just a little bit, but no rest for the wicked. Riley Knight in the booth with you, and Dennis Rashid alongside me. It's time to head down to the booth. We'll explain once we get there, but here we are with the semi-finals of GP Milan. Hello everyone and welcome to the semi-finals of GP Milan. The format is modern. In the booth with you, it's Riley Knight. It's my great pleasure to be here with you, joined by Dennis Rashid.
Hello everyone.
Out of Sweden. Good to have you here as well. We are about to get underway with our semi-final match here at GP Milan. You can see the competitors ready to go. They've just been given the instructions to start. Now, what is going on here? We have a birthing pod, a traditional take on a modern classic, shall we say. Dennis on the left, but on the right, in the hands of Głogowski, here's a gemstone mine. We are playing Amulet combo.
Indeed, and we saw this deck do some crazy stuff in previous feature matches, and he has not lost today. He was the only 7-0 in the Swiss, and now he's playing in the semifinals after winning the quarterfinals.
Here's a Simic Growth Chamber. That is what's known as a Karoo land or a bounce land. It taps for blue and green, 2 mana. However, when it enters the battlefield, you've got to return a land you control to its owner's hand. If you're unfamiliar with the deck, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a real treat. You're going to see exactly how explosive this deck can be. How do you like turn 2 Primeval Titan attacking for 16? Well, that could be you. Our lucky player in the hot seat at the moment, Głogowski, has done just that. However, he's facing down Lantto, no slouch himself, out of Sweden, on birthing pod.
Indeed, my countryman. So obviously the good guy here in the top 4,
showing impeccable professionalism with absolutely no bias. Dennis Rashid sitting here in his dad's suit next to me.
Yeah, that's me. Magnus Lantto, a teammate of mine for Pro Tour Washington. Gotta cheer him on a little bit. I'm sure you would do the same if there was an Australian good enough to be in the top 4.
Just the humble brags. Just the humble brags and just the putting down of my country, that's fine. Here's Azusa, Lost But Seeking, off a Summoner's Pact.
That's an aggressive Summoner's Pact. I'm expecting Głogowski to do something big here, because right now he can't even pay for the pact during the next upkeep. But Azusa, of course, letting him play 2 more lands, as well as the first land that he has not played this turn.
And here's a Cavern of Souls. And there is Azusa, Lost But Seeking.
Let's see what else he
like
has.
2 extra lands a turn with Azusa?
2 extra lands with Azusa. He also has a Amulet in hand.
And we might see that on the battlefield right now. A very confusing deck, not one that we see at the top tables at Modern very much. However, Głogowski choosing to take advantage of that today, Denise. When asked about the deck, he actually said, people aren't ready for it. People aren't ready for the heat that he's packing. And as a result, he's brought this all the way to the semi-finals. We'll see exactly how well he fares. But he's done remarkably well already. Snagged himself a Pro Tour invite, of course, with his performance. Well done indeed to him. Taking advantage of people who aren't quite ready for the prime time. And
traditionally, Pod will have an issue with this deck, at least pre-board, before all the possible hate that you might have. Lantto has a pretty decent start here with a birthing pod on the Voice of the Resurgence. Getting a Reclamation Sage on the Amulet of Vigor. I'm actually not sure why he played that Amulet, because the Pact will tap down 4 mana of Piotr, so he's not really representing a chance to go off next turn. And if so, he could tap the 1 mana with the Amulet next turn and still keep on playing the Karoo lands. So leaving the Amulet vulnerable to removal there.
So Lantto, the activation of the birthing pod costing him 4 life there as he plays and activates it. Głogowski draws. What's he got? There's a Gruul Turf. Bounce the Gemstone Mine. Replay the Gemstone Mine. Say go. No attacks.
That's it. So he's just...
hasn't quite gone off, Dennis, shall we say?
Yeah, I mean, he could have bounced the Gruul Turf itself had he kept the Amulet of Vigor, and he had 6 mana available to him that turn.
Now he's taking 6 from the Elemental token and the Reclamation Sage. He's down to 12. He's back against the wall a little bit here, Głogowski.
If he has a Primeval Titan in his hand, that was probably a mistake to play the Amulet of Vigor, because now he actually needs that Amulet to go off with the deck. Just playing, yeah, that's upping the clock real fast here, because just playing a Primeval Titan at this board state, that's not enough.
No.
If you're not untapping your lands that you search up, you're not attacking for a large amount of damage with a hasty, angry Titan with double strike.
And that is exactly the game plan of the Amulet combo deck. I'm sure you guys at home are going to get a look at the deck list, but here is Hivemind, and is there a pack to follow? There are 2 packs to follow.
2 packs to follow.
So
that is the secondary win condition.
Win for Głogowski, just like that, after facing down Siege Rhinos and Murderous Redcaps. All the orthodoxy of the modern format we've come to know and love from the Birthing Pod. Get that out of here, says Głogowski. How about Hivemind into double Summoners pack? You're going to have to pay 8 mana in your upkeep, or you lose the game, and that is that. Lantto packs him up. He's had enough this week. Well done to Głogowski, to stealing, it has to be said, the first game.
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense now. If he did have the Hivemind and one of the Summoners packs at least, then he knew that he could go for a secondary win condition. Not the usual one, as we've mostly talked about the Primeval Titans here. The deck does pack some Hiveminds, because you play the Summoners Pact anyways, just to tutor the
you're happy
Primeval
enough to play
Titans.
it. As we saw, it got Azusa Lost but Seeking.
So and the Pact of Negations are not bad at all in a combo deck that wins straight away. So it all fits pretty well with the Hivemind plan as well. So why not shove in some extra win conditions there?
So let's have a look at the sideboard plans of these 2 guys here. First of all, Głogowski, he's got 3 Lane Liner Sanctity, 3 Pyroclasm, 3 Seal of Primordium, a Chalice of the Void, that's a card that's got a lot of press this weekend, an Engineered Explosive, Rurik Thar, the Unbowed, Swan Song, and a Slaughter Pack. Let's not forget about that. What are you liking here?
Traditionally, Pyroclasm is a pretty good card against the pod decks. So we'll see what his plan is. The question is if he wants to board in a bunch of reactive cards, or if he just wants to stay as efficient in the combo portion as possible.
That's the problem with the combo deck and sideboarding. The more every time you put a card in, you have to take a card out, which necessarily dilutes the combo. Let's move over now to the sweet side of things. On his side, he has a Kataki's War's Wage, Orzhov Pontiff, Entomber Exarch, Eidolon of Rhetoric, Kasali Pride Mage, 3 Chalice of the Void, 1 Choke, 2 Thoughtseize, 2 Memorous Side, Murderous Cut, and a Dismember. A very diverse range of options, as is typical for a Birthing Pod deck.
I would expect some Thoughtseizes come in, and probably the Entomber Exarch as well. I guess the extra Kasali Pride Mage, because it hits the amulets when he plays them, and as well as the Hivemind if he ever plays that just without having packs in hand, which is unlikely, but I mean it might come up.
It might come up indeed. Głogowski managing to combo out his opponent very, very quickly here. Lantto's response is going to be crucial to see who's going to make it through to the final. His back's against the wall, the Swede.
There is a card that is pretty interesting, Memoricide. It's usually good against combo decks, but I mean, Głogowski has 2 combos in his deck, so just Memoriciding Primeval Titan will not lock up the game, and Memoriciding Hivemind will definitely not lock up the game for him. So
no, that's right. A pretty strong plan A, and of course a resilient plan B as well. That's going to attack him from different angles. This deck requires a lot of play. Obviously, you need to know the deck inside and out. Playing with a card like Summerbloom, in addition to the bounce lands. Can we give a quick thumbnail sketch of the way that the deck's going to operate?
Sure. So there's a Hivemind win, which we saw here. Just ramp up to a Hivemind, which copies all the spells that are being played, and you play a bunch of pacts, which require you to pay large amounts of mana in your upkeep, and your opponent will usually not be able to pay that mana. The normal way to win, so to speak, is the Amulet of Vigor.
The normal way, the regular way.
Regular way for this deck is playing an Amulet of Vigor alongside various cards that allow you to play multiple lands each turn, like Summer Bloom or Azusa Lost But Seeking, or by searching them up with the Primeval Titan. And the Amulet allows all those lands to be untapped, and you can even stack those, so multiple Amulets means multiple untaps, gaining lots and lots of mana, attacking with huge Titans.
Which you can then give haste,
yeah.
thanks to some pretty powerful red-white lands.
You have
some Slayer's Stronghold giving it haste, and then of course Sunhome Fortress of the Legion giving it double strike.
Yeah. You have some utility lands as well with the Colony Garden there for chumping duty or protecting from any Liliana type effects.
An Edict, that's right, yeah.
So yeah, that's the combo.
So it'll be interesting to see how Głogowski is going to navigate these choppy waters moving into our second game. How about a live look in though? Let's have a look at our other match that's going on. We've got Louis Del Toro, the pilot, on the right of your screen, Niccolo Bellini on the left. He's on Pod Bellini, Del Toro masterfully piloting a Jeskai Entity 2.0 deck into the semi-finals. We saw in the quarters just how well Del Toro knows his deck back to front as he passes the turn. He's got an ascendancy online. He's got to be happy about that.
Yeah, and Del Toro as well is like Głogowski, one of the unbeatable people here in Day 2 in GP Milan. He was 6-0-1 in the Swiss, and he also won his quarterfinals. So
hasn't tasted the bitter cup of defeat just yet.
Not today.
Not today. There's an abrupt decay. But let's head back now to our original match. It's Lantto versus Głogowski. Let's get underway with these fellows here as they get stuck into their second game. The crowd at home clamouring to see this Amulet of Vigor combo deck, and we're more than happy to give them what they want. We're in the business of solutions here.
Looks like a Thoughtseize turn 1 for Lantto, which is where he wants to be. Seeing a kind of a weak hand, I would say. There's a Serum Visions to try to draw into stuff, but granted there are 2 Summer Blooms alongside a Primeval Titan, so a Karoo land as well as an Amulet would make stuff happen. A very quick Titan would come into play at that point.
And Serum Vision's going to help him perhaps put those pieces together.
There are a lot of Karoo lands in the deck, obviously, but only 4 Amulets.
Only 4?
Unfortunately, that's the maximum amount allowed in this game.
Oh, is that right?
In some cases,
I should probably learn these things.
In some cases, you can play something like a Wish. We saw the Eduardo Sajgali playing Glittering Wishes to
which
effectively
gives you extra copies.
But not something that Głogowski has access to here.
So he's going to navigate. He's certainly got plays. He's got a Gemstone Mine. He's going to be able to power out a Serum Visions. He chooses not to do that though. It's Talaria West instead, the Transmute land from Futureside.
Of course, Pod not having the fastest clock in the modern metagame.
No, certainly not. Giving up speed for resilience and
versatility,
and consistency, and versatility. Certainly, a very good point.
Yeah, all the one-ofs, so-called silver bullets in the deck with the namesake of the deck, Birthing Pod, searching them up.
For sure. Here's Bird's Paradise. I'll turn 2 birds. What do we got? Looks like a Summer Bloom. A disgusting white-bordered Summer Bloom. I love the card, but look, my goodness.
Like me some white-bordered cards.
We've very clearly established, Dennis, that you have no taste.
So he's playing the Serum Visions here. Interesting that he would fire off a Summer Bloom right there.
You saw there the community rating of Summer Bloom and a fan favourite. People will be very happy with this card. Been trying to find room for it in my queue.
Really?
Yeah. I'll give you a hint. Ever draft my queue? You draft Green Ramp.
Oh, I see.
I got Thornlink in my queue. Because it always goes 15th. I always get to pick it.
So it's your cube and you know exactly what to do.
I know. It's great. Yeah. Tell everyone that Storm's a really good archetype. They jump in, nothing's there. It's fantastic. So Serum Vision's still in the process of being resolved here. Looks like he's happy enough to keep his stuff on the top.
That's
not what you want to see from your opponent. Here's a 3rd land, another Talaria West chipper.
Would expect a Amulet then, because that would allow a possible Primeval Titan. I mean, he could play a Primeval Titan naturally next turn, but it's not as scary if you just play it as a 6-drop that searches up 2 lands. I mean, if you...
A 6/6 trampler that searches out extra lands, I mean, come on. Come on, I'm in the business of real threats.
This
in
is,
Magic
yeah,
the Gathering.
exactly. This is standard. This is modern.
Here's a Kitchen Finks. Going to pad out Magnus Lantto's life total, which isn't hugely relevant. Certainly has some play, but you know. Here's a Talaria West off the top. What have we got? That's 2 mana. It's not 2 mana.
So he kept the Talaria West on top.
Here's EE for 1.
He's going to blow up a bird.
3 mana, kill your Birds of Paradise. And we have Seal of Primordial.
I see. So he's actually gone pretty reactive here, anticipating some hate from Magnus Lantto.
The Seal of Primordium, it is basically naturalized as an enchantment.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the utility of the fact that we're using this shifted card here rather than the actual instant.
Yeah, well, if you're playing a proactive deck, you usually want to just put the answer into play so you can keep doing what you're doing, your own combo. For instance, he can tap out for a Primeval Titan next turn, whereas if it was a naturalize, he would have to keep up 2 mana until a target is presented. Which
is really going to choke his game plan, wanting to develop.
That's something a control deck wants to do, not what a combo deck wants to do. So that's
Seal of
why
Primordium doing an impersonation of Naturalize. And here is Abrupt Decay, followed up by Voice of Resurgence.
And we see a Birthing Pod also in Lantto's hand, so that's why he was eager to kill that Seal of Primordium.
Let's hear from our own live birdies checking in with the results.
And bad news for France. Luis Samuel Del Tour, he's down a game in his semifinals. He didn't manage to find not 1, not 2, but 3 Jeskai Ascendancies. His opponent dealt with the first 2, and the third one he didn't have any more instants to get things going, and then he was dead to an attack from a Kitchen Finks.
So there you go, Birthing Pod proving once again it can run with the big dogs. Ascendancy 2.0 going down to Niccolo Bellini, piloting Birth Pod. Bellini, of course, the hometown hero. He's from Italy.
The last one standing here from the home country.
That's right. We got a Swede, we got a Pole, and we got a Frenchman. He's Birthing Pod.
Yeah, potting up a 4-drop, it seems like, with the help of Kitchen Finks.
He's got some options here.
He knows about the Primeval Titan, so he could try to discard it.
But
he goes for a Siege Rhino. Maybe he didn't port in the...
Entomber Exarch?
Entomber Exarch. I'm not even entirely sure Entomber Exarch's text here. What cards can the Entomber Exarch discard? Is it? I know that you can even discard lands, so it might be something weird, like you can't discard creatures with it or something.
That answer is forthcoming, as Głogowski considers his next move.
Which should be a Primeval Titan, unless you have something even better. The Primeval Titan
as it
will
turns
not
out,
be enough, I guess.
He doesn't have anything better. So there we go. That is a concession from Głogowski. His deck did not come together for him in game number 2, and that's the danger when playing a combo deck. Sometimes the pieces don't come together, especially when you've diluted your deck with reactive cards from the board. Unfortunately for Głogowski, the Polish hero isn't going to be able to make it a clean sweep, slam dunk, straight sets victory over your countryman Dennis. But I'm sure you're happy to see more Magic in any case.
Well, tying it up at 1-1 here is Magnus, and yeah, of course I hope to see more Magic if it's from a Swede.
It's the only kind of Magic worth watching.
Yes, exactly. I can stretch as far as Scandinavia. You know, the World Magic Cup champions. They'll have their due credit.
See, I don't feel like you have the right to brag about that victory.
I'm not.
It'd be like if New Zealand won and all of a sudden I was like, oh, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Well, Aussie, New Zealand kind of thing.
No, I'm not bragging about that. I'm more so just, you know, respecting that win.
I see, okay.
I'm not respecting a win from Australia if that ever happens.
Okay, mate, listen, I'll tell you what.
1996, is that what you're going to...
I'm going to have some words to say. I'm going to have some words to say to you in a minute. I'd love to take you over to the other match, ladies and gentlemen at home, but they are actually also still shuffling up. You can see here, any way you slice it, we've got some sideboard action going on. For those of you Those of you who are fans of different techniques of pile shuffles, I'm sure you're going to enjoy yourselves. You've seen that Bellini has gone for the 2x3, a classic, it must be said. I myself personally go for the 4 on the top, 3 on the bottom. What about you, Dennis?
Likewise, 4 on the
likewise.
top, 3 on the
Okay,
bottom.
sure.
That's
There's a rare moment of harmony between our eternally battling souls.
Yeah.
What I've never understood is the 8 pile. The 8 pile shuffle. Doesn't make any sense to me. It seems insanity.
I mean, I think the 6 pile is almost as bad. I think a 3 pile is probably better than the 6 pile.
And you see here Louis Del Tor's shuffling technique at the moment. He's just doing the hand-over-hand ripple shuffle. Bringing you the hard-hitting analysis. I know you want to hear about this thing, and you can see a 4x3 or a 4 top row, 3 bottom row
that's how
down
it's
with
done.
our hero Głogowski. Absolutely. He knows how to play a game of Magic, knows how to shuffle his cards, ladies and gentlemen.
And he might be meticulous in shuffling, or he might be taking a mulligan here, because Lantto is not shuffling, so...
Could go either way. It'll be interesting to see the role that these decks adopt after sideboarding into Game 3. Now, of course, with perfect information into their decks, the players are allowed to see the deck lists of their opponents during sideboarding as well as before the match. And after the match, I suppose, if they want to go and wallow in that, or bask in the victory.
That's available for everybody.
Absolutely. And
what
I'm
would
sure
you do in this situation?
People around the world are definitely going to be enjoying trawling through the deck lists that have come up from Modern. And I just want to touch upon again for a minute, Dennis, the fact that this format is so wide open. People complaining left, right, and centre about the delve cards and how they're busted and broken, whatever else. But I mean, the way we're looking at it now.
Yeah, there's where are all the Delver decks?
We've got 6.5 different archetypes. This format's wide open. You can play whatever you want. We've seen what people would label, would sort of cast aside as a crazy fringe combo deck. It's made its way to the semi-finals of a several thousand player GP.
It's I mean, it's a very powerful deck, and there are plenty busted combos available to you in Modern.
And having that feeling, having that sense, being able to turn up to a professional level event, being able to play with the best and brightest in Europe and indeed around the world, and being able to shuffle up basically whatever pile of 75 respectable cards you want, and you can just go to battle.
You can.
That's the life of the modern wizard.
And we've seen you know Frogmice scale of Kiscoria. We've even seen some sliver action here in Milan. So
the top tables, no less.
Absolutely. So
it's a wonderful format, Modern, and we're very, very pleased to be able to bring it to you as these guys shuffle up and get ready. It looks like both of our feature matches still getting involved in some shuffling, some mulliganing. So fans of the in-between game will be certainly enjoying the coverage we're bringing to them. So, opening hands in both of these players' decks. Let's head over to our original match. Looks like they're about to get underway. Nope, a mulligan on both sides.
Both of them, yeah. Would make for an interesting match, I guess. But again, in general, that's not great for a combo player to mulligan. The resilient deck in pod will be happier.
Will be certainly, less affected by the mulligan 6 for sure. As we see a Serum Visions on the side of Louis Del Tor. Those names are switched around. Here is Verdant Catacombs.
Yeah, Niccolo Bellini with the pod.
Podless and Del Tor, as we've seen, masterfully navigating his way through the tournament. He's got a remarkable way, for those of you who missed it last round, a remarkable way of keeping track of his triggers and his Jeskai Ascendancy shenanigans. What he does, he's got a couple of tokens that he puts as physical representation of the stack, which I'm a huge fan of. But more than that, he whips out a whiteboard marker and actually writes on the sleeves of his cards exactly how many times they've had a Jeskai Ascendancy +1/+1 trigger result. That means there's no ambiguity. That means he knows exactly when he's clocking them for lethal. And it means that he's able to really perform at peak efficiency, not wasting, synapses in his brain, continually processing information.
Yeah, also helps him to just be effective and play efficiently, because we've seen a lot of matches go to time here. Of course, the top 8 matches are untimed, but I'm sure that has helped him quite a bit along the way as well.
Del Tor draws 2. He's going to discard 2 as well, thanks to that Izzet Charm. What's he got? We've seen Unburial Rights hit the bin. Certainly not a card he wants in his hand, seeing as he has absolutely no access to Black Mountain.
Indeed.
Del Toro draws. He's got a loaded grip.
Looking at the list of
Amulet found, digging in for 2.
Niccolo Bellini and comparing it to Magnus Lantto, they seem very similar. Bellini has opted to keep the Spike Feeder Archangel of Thune combo, whereas Lantto has no such combo in his deck.
More of just a traditional grindy mid-range deck. Black, green, white, these are the colours that are really able to grind an opponent into the dust. As we see a Jeskai Ascendancy hit the table on the side of Del Toro, the Frenchman with his engine online. We'll see if it lasts. There's Eternal Witness.
So he will tap up with a Ascendancy in play and a tapped out opponent.
With the enchantment, I should say. So Bellini, he's hit F6.
Well, yeah, basically, unless there's a Slaughter Pact of kinds in his deck. I know that I believe Lantto plays one, but I'm not sure if Bellini has one in his 75.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
So F6 the play for Bellini.
Del Toro still needs to find some Fate Stitchers. I think I saw one though in his hand. Easily looted down with the help of Ascendancy.
It's the 4th land, it's an island. And here is a charm. Draw 2, discard 2. He is going to be hoping for a Fate Stitcher. We'll come back to this game before too much longer, ladies and gentlemen, but it is time to take us back to our original match. It is Amulet combo versus Birthing Pod. You can see calmly guarding, kicking things off. The 0-1 plan token coming into play.
What do we see here? A Summer Bloom, 3 lands, and a Summoner's Pact, I believe. Can't really make out that top card. It looks like he's thought seizing that one, and that's going to be the Pact. So left with a pretty horrendous hand here for Piotr Głogowski.
His Gemstone Mine and Summer's Bloom.
He's just going to go for playing all the lands that he has.
Another 0-1 entering the battlefield, and the Culny Garden ending up in his hand thanks to those Simic breeding checks.
Yeah. So now, if he does draw a Primeval Titan or a Summoner's Pact, he can at least do something.
Take 2 off the Temple Garden. Down comes the Birds of Paradise. Once again, Lantto choosing to play his disruptive hand, his discard spell, rather than a Birds on turn 1.
Yeah.
Here's Culny Garden once again. He now has 3 0-1 plan tokens.
Yep.
A mighty wizard indeed. Without an amulet, you can really see this deck failing to fire on all cylinders.
Yeah. And it's pretty weak against this card as well. You're playing off the top, since you always keep a 1 Titan hand, or a Pact in this case. You basically have to. But playing just off the top with more or less only Serum Visions that help you find more, and 2 Sleight of Hands.
Yeah, and this is really where the Abzan pod deck thrives. Absolutely thrives. And you can see here, Lantto more than happy to pay 4 life to pot away his Birds. He's going to find a 2-drop as well, and this is where the incremental card advantage engine really gets going with Lantto. Every time he sacrifices a creature, he gains just a slight percentage, anywhere between, 10 and 50 or 70% of a card with every Birthing Pod activation. We see Wall of Roots here.
Or even a full card if you just kill something with whatever you fetch up, and you can even get more than 1 card if the card you fetch up is a Murderous Redcap killing a card, and then you can pot that one away, and then you get the Redcap back, and so on and so forth. You just grind it out.
Yeah, I mean at that stage it's not so much grinding, is it really? It's,
well,
you're crushing them into the baked hell of obsolescence.
We see a Slayer Stronghold on the side of Piotr Głogowski, and if he finds a Boros Garrison, or if he wants to start spending the tokens, the counters on Gemstone Mine, he can start attacking with the 0-1s. I'll tell you.
And they can be very promptly blocked by the Wall of Roots, which is now hitting the bin. So Lantto opening himself up to Culny Garden beatdown. He's got to be careful because, of course, Slayer's Stronghold with the Boros Garrison, the Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, that could be trouble.
He could search up a Orzhov Pontiff if he really wants an answer to all these 0-1s.
Oh, I see, actually, that's the tech. He's so concerned about the 0-1s. Going to bring, no, Eternal Witness is the play. So once again, Lantto, no fear from the man from the north.
For the 0 power on the opponent's side of the board.
And there's the Thought Seize. Hive Mind, Gemstone Mind.
A good Thought Seize. It's a possible miss there because obviously Piotr is playing off the top. But a hit on Hive Mind will make him happy.
Yeah, certainly really reducing the percentage points that Głogowski has to win this game. I'm going to point out, Lantto's at 9 life. He's facing down 3 creatures. The Parentopters of those creatures, irrelevant. But 9 life. He's behind on, he's not behind on water. I was going to try to make, I can't sell that.
I mean, to be fair, the presence of the Slayer's Stronghold means that a top deck Primeval Titan could possibly be given haste and attack for a lot immediately, even without any vigor, Amulet of Vigor action. That's
very true. Here's a Hive Mind off the top, though. Again, as you've mentioned, Głogowski playing off the top of his deck. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he would have been happy with a prime time. As indeed you've said, Slayer's Stronghold giving a creature +2, +0 vigilance and haste. So a Primeval Titan would be able to slam with the red zone.
He needs some more mana, but it at least represents some sort of top decking a lethal card potential. And
well, at this stage, I mean, it even has trample. He doesn't have great blocks on Lanto's side either.
I'm not sure that playing the Hive Mind at this point is correct, because we've already seen a couple of Thought Seizes from Magnus Lantto, and I don't think that, I mean, he runs 4 post board.
Down to 5 with another Birthing Pod activation. What's he going to find? Here's a Voice of Resurgence, a nice Brazilian 2-drop, but he's going to pay another 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that he's going to kill the Hive Mind, and that's what the point I was going to make, that he opens up for a removal, and he knows that, I mean, Lantto has a pod in play, so he should deduce that he can search up whatever creature he wants to deal with the Hive Mind.
At this stage, however, a Primeval Titan off the top, Lantto with access to he doesn't have a Slaughter Pact. Primeval Titan off the top could be an absolute disaster for the Swede.
He still needs 1 land though. That's the thing. There's a Colony Garden, there's 2 Semi-Growth Chambers, and Primeval Titan costs 6, and the activation of the Slayer Stronghold is a 2, and then you need to tap the Stronghold as well. So
I've miscounted.
So there's at least 2 cards.
In they come.
In they come. And it's like, do I have to block now? Well, yeah, but you can kill off 2 of those and take 2.
And we have a Slayer's Stronghold activation on a 0-1 plan
from
the Colony Garden. You, ladies and gentlemen, have signed up to watch Exciting Magic, and our mandate is to bring it to you. Who thought that there would be Colony Garden beatdown thanks to Slayer's Stronghold?
Dreams. Dreams are being crushed.
In come the clowns. Głogowski looking to take a bit of a beating from those creatures. That's 8 damage. He's down to 10 with 1 card in hand. What could it be? What's he got?
If it's an Amulet or an untapped land, he has a very live draw, because you can draw Primeval Titan, you can draw Summoner's Pact.
Teasing us there, Głogowski. Teasing us with a small peek at the card. Unfortunately, didn't quite get a good look at it. Birthing Pod activation. Here it comes. Maybe. Yes. No. Considering what the options are.
He could gain some life if he chooses to activate Birthing Pod, or he could activate both pods and go back down to 1.
So he stayed at 3, paid 2 life, and then the Kitchen Finks comes back in. Here's the Siege Rhino. That's going to put him up to 4. And he's going to be able now to activate the Birthing Pod again from that swamp.
He's up to 6, but down to 4 if he does activate it, which he does, yeah. Possibly getting another Restoration Angel or something. No.
Deceiver Exile. Oh, sorry, an Entombment Exile, I should say. Which reveals Summer Bloom. Not the best card to have as the last one in your hand.
No. Doesn't actually do anything at at this
However,
position.
Głogowski still has the plant token, still got the 0-1, not going to be enough. There we go, Głogowski with the concession. Magnus Lantto, the Swede that could, he's through to the final of GP Milan after masterfully
Yaddo.
piloting his birthing pod deck. But full credit to Głogowski for getting this far with what many people would have dismissed as a fringe deck. Well done indeed to him. He's off to the Pro Tour, and we're going to see him now. I'm looking forward to it. And that is that for this game. We've still got another round, or still got another match, I should say, in
Indeed.
this round. It's time for me to step out. You're going to be joined by Marin Laibert, the very capable Belgian. I'm looking forward to the things that he has to say, and I'm sure you are as well. So I'm going to step out for a minute. But don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because there's more magic to come from the Frenchman, Louis Del Tor, facing off, of course, against Niccolo Bellini, the Ascendancy 2.0 deck, going head-to-head with Birthing Pod. Stick around, because there'll be more magic in just a second.
Looks like they're shuffling up for a game 3, I would presume. We saw the Polak Głogowski get his first loss in the semifinals. Will we see Del Tor get his first loss of the day in the other semifinals?
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome for game 3 of the game between Niccolo Bellini playing against Louis Samuel Del Tor. While you guys were watching some Amulet of Vigor action, I was actually watching this match. Game 1 went to Niccolo Bellini with his Birthing Pod deck. He was able to find Abrupt Decay and Casali Proud Mage there to handle 2 Jeskai Ascendancies. Louis actually drew the 3rd Jeskai Ascendancy right before he was dead, but he couldn't find another instant or sorcery to get the Fate Stitcher into his graveyard. So that game 1 went to Niccolo. Game 2 went much better for Louis Samuel Del Tor, as he was able to find a turn 4 kill thanks to Jeskai Ascendancy and Fate Stitcher. Seems like we're off to game 3 here. Birthing Pod playing against Jeskai Ascendancy, and turn 1 Birds of Paradise for Niccolo Bellini. Let's see what Louis Samuel Del Tor can do to answer that.
Looks like a regular old Bolt the Bird.
Yep, Lightning Bolt the Bird. We've seen it a lot this weekend, and I guess we're going to see it a lot in the future as well. He does go down to 17 thanks to that Steam Vents and the fetch, of course. So Louis is now at 17. Niccolo Bellini, he plays a Temple Garden and a Voice of Resurgence. So a good start for Niccolo Bellini, to be fair. And now a Totscar, Mills, Gifts Ungiven, Detection Probe. He draws Hello Fountain. Did he really need that second? It seems like he did have a second.
Yeah, indeed. It looks like he drew what he needed there. I think there's another land in there, in the middle. Maybe I'm just seeing things.
Yeah, he is playing that Hello Fountain untapped, takes 2 from it. Mills again with the Dodge card. He mills 2 lands, so that's not good news probably. And he draws another card. Really hoping for him that he's got that 3rd land right in there.
He has an Ascendancy and an Is a Charm, a Gifts Ungiven, and a Path, I believe. So he has an answer for the Voice without leaving a elemental token behind it.
He might have an answer for 1 Voice, but does he have an answer for 2 Voice? There we have it. 2 Voice of Resurgence now for Niccolo Bellini. But he does draw a 3rd land. He's actually got...
Yeah, he had the Fairy Conclave, and he also has a Mountain now.
Yeah, but he's gonna path to exile that 1 Voice of Resurgence token. His hand is pretty good, to be fair.
He has a lot of action here, absolutely. Is a Charm, Ascendancy, and a Gifts Ungiven alongside a Fate Stitcher. I think Gifts is just a huge card in the sideboard of the Control Ascendancy deck. I mean, not only can you go for the whole Gifts Ungiven for Unburial Rights and a big creature, you can also just fetch a couple of Fate Stitchers to just go off with a Jeskai Ascendancy.
Yeah, we might see that one next turn, but as Niccolo Bellini moves to his turn 4, of course got a land off that path to exile, now on 4 lands. He plays his 5th land, that's a Razorverge ticket into play tapped. Does he have any more gas actually? He still has the 1 Voice of Resurgence that is bringing down Louis Samuel Del Tor to 11 life. Does he have anything more? It seems like he has a Spike Feeder, but he's not going to play that one. He's just happy to ship the turn.
Yeah, just a little back and forth here. It's going to be interesting to see if Del Toro fires off a Gibson given here, which he will.
Yeah, he is indeed gonna fire off that Gibson given in response to the Thoughtseize. This gives Nicola Bellini an elemental token though, but if Iona is gonna come into play, that token might as well die.
Elishnorn.
Yeah, Elishnorn. Yeah.
Which is a very good card against Pod. Not many creatures survive that one, and that's exactly what we see from Del Toro.
Yeah, now we see a Thoughtseize revealing Is-a-Charm, Jeskai Ascendancy, and Fate Stitcher. Let's see what Nicola Bellini takes here. What do you think is the right pick?
Well, I would probably take the Jeskai Ascendancy, but I'm not sure if that's enough. Maybe he could consider taking an Is-a-Charm because maybe he's not too afraid of the combo when facing a Elishnorn. But yeah, I think the safe pick is just take the Jeskai Ascendancy. If you have a removal for the Elishnorn, then you're just back to parity.
And I do think he's got at least one Spike Feeder, and as he did not play it last turn, where he could have, he might as well have an Abrupt Decay. I don't know. I feel like, did he have a Black Source last turn? I think he did. So
yeah.
I think his hand is Abrupt Decay, Spike Feeder, and another card. I don't know what that is. He doesn't find another land to go with his Gavany Township though, so now Unburial Rites is going to get rid of the Voice of Resurgence, the token, and the fresh token as well. So that's a good turn for Luis Samuel Del Toro.
You see, it was a path, a foily path. That was what the last card was. So an answer to Elishnorn, but not before all the threats on board hit the bin.
And that also explains why he did not play the Spike Feeder. He needed to keep up mana for a Path to Exile. Spike Feeder would have died anyway to the Iona.
Spike Feeder is at least a somewhat of a clock because you can pump it up with the Gavany Township as well. So a creature is a creature.
Yeah, let's not forget he's also holding Eternal Witness, so he could either return the Path to Exile or the Thoughtseize. What do you think he should return here?
I mean, he still has that Abrupt Decay in hand, right?
No, it was actually a Path to Exile. His hand
oh,
is
that was the
Feeder
okay,
and
okay.
Eternal Witness.
I could see just firing off another Thoughtseize here. Luis Samuel Del Toro is hit himself for a lot of mana himself, so a lot of damage himself due to the fetches and the pain lands. And that's exactly the play we see. We see a Eternal Witness to Thoughtseize, hitting a Dig Through Time.
Yeah, if I was ever going to fire off a Thoughtseize, I would be very happy if that one can snatch that Dig Through Time. It's basically a fresh new 7 where which you're looking at with Dig Through Time, a very powerful card, as we have already noticed this weekend.
Instead of digging 7, Luis Del Toro has to dig for 2 possibly, or maybe he could consider killing the Eternal Witness. Maybe that buys him more time, but he's gonna have to find something here. A hard cost Fate Stitcher can tap down some creatures. Yeah, there he goes. He removes the Eternal Witness because of the threat it represents, thanks to the Gavany Township.
Yeah, now the Spike Feeder doesn't do all that much. He's got Luis Samuel Del Toro has Fate Stitcher to tap it as long as he wants, and as long as he's not under pressure, he can dig for some Jeskai Ascendancies or his Gibson Given plan basically over right now, right?
Yeah, I don't think that they board in more than one creature.
No, and even
bringing in an Iona is not
they would also need to bring in a second Unburial Rites.
Yeah. So it's not happening here.
But it just seems like he has another creature, just a Reclamation Sage. He wants to put on some pressure there.
He knows that both of them are basically empty, so I think that I like this play from Bellini. He has 2 creatures now. Only one of them will be able to attack, presumably, but it will grow each turn.
It is certainly gonna grow thanks to that Gavany Township. Yeah, which side would you like to be on in this situation?
I mean, if you're a lucky guy, you just draw a Treasure Cruiser, a Dig Through Time, and find your combo piece. But I think that Bellini should be favored when both sides are empty and he has I guess a 3-turn clock, because there's a Fairy Conclave that can chump for a turn.
Yeah, but Louis Samuel Deltour could have just killed that that Reclamation Sage with his Izzet Charm, right?
Indeed.
But indeed, he chose to loot, to draw for 2 cards. He discarded 2 cards and then drew another Serum Visions. Now actually with another Izzet Charm once again.
He finds an Izzet Charm, puts it on top.
And now he is gonna kill the Spike Feeder. He's gonna let the Reclamation Sage live. A good choice, I guess. The 4 life doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and the Spike Feeder represents a possible instant lethal with a top decked Archangel of Thune, so that's why you just remove that one.
Yeah, and there we have the Spike Feeder. Well, actually a 0/0 comes into the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters. You can remove a +1/+1 counter and put a +1/+1 on another target creature, or you can gain 2 life by removing a +1/+1 counter.
So the Izzet Charm he kept on top is pointed at the Reclamation Sage. Nicola Bellini now has to grow his Hierarch as well as whatever creature he can draw next.
Yeah, Nicola really hoping to draw a creature here, and it seems like he's found it. He's found himself a Kitchen Finch, so that's a good beater right there. It's probably gonna get tapped down by the Fate Stitcher, but that means the Noble Hierarch can get in.
Yeah, for 2 damage and then 3 and more.
Now, what did Lewis find here? He did take a quick look through his his graveyard. Maybe he found himself a Gifts and Given.
He's attacking with the Fairy Conclave here, representing a very slow clock.
Yeah,
but he has some huge draws. Of course, Bellini also has great cards to top deck here.
And now we see an activation of the Gavany Township. Noble Hierarch becomes a 2/3. That's a 3/4 thanks to Exalted, and Kitchen Finch now a 4/3. What can Louis Samuel Deltour draw? He draws a Seachrome Coast, or that might have been his draw last turn. Let's see if he can do anything this turn.
Attack for 2.
This is a very close game.
This is usually the game plan of the pod deck, right? So you grind it out with your value creatures, your Kitchen Finch and your Gavany Township.
Yeah, Gavany Township is that card in Birthing Pot not a lot of people talk about, but it's actually one of the centerpieces, right?
I fully agree. It allows you to win the long game, win the games when you just draw all the Birds of Paradise, Noble Hierarch stuff.
And now a Shriekmaw for Nicola Bellini. This could spell bad news for Louis Samuel Deltour. He will have to chum block with his Fairy Conclave, and then he will lose his Fate Stitcher to the Shriekmaw. So he's basically down to 1 draw now, right? Oh no, seems like Nicola Bellini not going to play his Shriekmaw there.
Yeah, I mean the clock is still the same, unless of course there's more chumping to be done. Which I think there's another Fairy Conclave there.
Yeah, there's another Fairy Conclave, so I'm a bit surprised that he didn't just hardcast the Shriekmaw and destroy the Fate Stitcher.
Yeah, I mean, the Shriekmaw, of course, it has fear, right? So
Yeah.
it's hard to block, hard to chump. Would require the activation of Fate Stitcher.
And now with the second Fate Stitcher, he cannot wait anymore. Lewis is probably just gonna chum block again with the Fairy Conclave, and then he's got 2 tappers, so he will have to fire off that Shriekmaw anyway.
Which we should see here. I'm expecting that Louis Deltour gets 1 more draw step.
And there we see the chump once again on the Noble Hierarch. Are we gonna finally see that Shriekmaw? Or maybe it wasn't a Shriekmaw, and I was just looking at it. Oh!
Oh, a choke, but there's a Seachrome Coast, a mountain, and yeah.
Holy moly. That was a good draw for Nicola Bellini. I don't think it was a Shriekmaw, otherwise he certainly would have played that. But funnily enough, Louis Samuel Deltour is not out of this game yet. He's still holding on to these 2 Fate Stitchers.
Needs to find a creature, and Fate Stitchers, they can untap lands, so and he has a land in hand. So if I was gonna say if Deltour finds a Ascendancy, then he could do stuff. But here we see a Kasali Pride Mage preempting the possible top decking of a Jeskai Ascendancy.
Yeah, and I think we're very close to the handshake. Luis Samuel Del Tour holding an island and a scalding turn, and Nicola has basically 3 attackers. And do you see an out here, or is it just game?
No, unless there's a path hidden there, but I think it's another land.
Attack,
so,
Nicola Bellini says. Okay, says
there's
Lamour,
the
and there we see the handshake. Nicola Bellini makes it to the finals, where he will be playing against Magnus Lantto, Berting Pot against Berting Pot in the finals of Grand Prix Milan 2014. Now Berting Pot is just overperforming every GP, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very solid deck, I guess, in a big tournament like a GP, grinding out all those rounds, not hitting any huge hate cards that some of the combo decks can face. It's just, it makes sense for the deck to perform well, but I mean, we've talked a lot about Delver, we've talked about Ascendancy, we've seen a lot of Delver in Ascendancy, but looking at the finals, there's 2 Berting Pot decks.
Time and time again, Berting Pot keeps on performing. Like, people are talking, yeah, we need to ban Treasure Cruise, we need to ban Dictator Time. Maybe it's time. You think so, or you don't agree?
I mean, people talked about banning Berting Pod back in the former more modern formats. I'm not sure how many people would call for a ban on Berting Pod right now, because I don't think that it is too powerful. It's just very, very consistent, and maybe it's just in the hands of very good players. I mean, we have Magnus Lantto from Sweden, and
yeah, no, Nicola Bellini,
hometown hero, which is usually the case, right? In the Grand Prix, there's also always the hometown hero.
And you can see he's very prepared. He's got his sideboard notes ready, typed out. He's got every matchup figured out. He knows how to play it. He's playing it very well, I must say. Nicola Bellini playing very well there, and he will be facing Magnus Lantto in the finals of Grand Prix Milan. I'm excited. I hope you guys are as well. I think we're gonna send you shortly to a little feature we've got, and after that we will be back for the finals. The last match, one more match. We've got 2 more players ready to grab that trophy, to host it. I mean, who's your favorite, the Swedish or the Italian?
I'm gonna go with the Swede, even though
Why?
he doesn't have the infinite combo with the Archangel and whatnot. But he's just
doesn't?
No, he's the one that doesn't play the combo. But he's just he's from a better country.
Not biased at all, he is. Anyways, guys, don't run anywhere. We are gonna be back with the finals pretty soon.